start the session then. Good evening, everyone. I know it's about close to 5:30 p.m. in India. It's early in the morning here in Toronto. So if anyone is joining us from Canada, good morning. My name is Dhruv Mohan. I represent the School of Continuing Studies at York University. I'm the manager recruitment for Southeast Asia and India, and I'm thankful to the entire Enphase team, to Jagdeep and the rest of his team for including me in this e-fair today. I know everyone is fighting this pandemic across the globe and doing our bit to ensure that it is behind us sooner than later. And even before I start this session, I would urge everyone to stay indoors and stay safe and try and do your bit to ensure that we are fighting this together. So please remain indoors. The reason that we are trying to do this webinar today is to ensure that even though everyone is in a lockdown situation, it should not hamper your progress, your academic progress. So, as we fight this pandemic, institutes all across the globe are currently in a lockdown mode as well. So I don't think any or many institutes are delivering classes face to face, but certainly classes are being held online. So what I will also try and do in this webinar, touch a little bit about what the School of Continuing Studies at York University is doing in terms of delivering the sessions online. All our classes are currently happening online, and how you can look towards continuing your academics even in a lockdown situation. So the good thing is everything is being delivered. You don't have to travel anywhere for the time being, and you can sit in your room, in your house, and start the classes. So what I will try and do is cover a little bit about the university, then the school, and in the end talk about what to expect in terms of online delivery and how the institute is preparing for the upcoming intakes. And in the end, or as we go, if there are any questions, I will be happy to take those questions. So I will quickly run you through a small presentation. As this loads. So just to give you context, the School of Continuing Studies was established 5 years ago within York University. But before I talk about the university, there are two aspects to the school that I represent. The continued professional education, which is delivered through the postgrad certificate programs, and the English Language Institute, through which you can enhance your language skills and use it as a pathway to get into York's degree programs, both at an undergrad and at the postgrad level. So moving on, I hope the screen is visible to all. I'll talk and I'll start with a little bit about York University. York is the third largest university in Canada, based in Toronto. We've got two campuses in Toronto, the main campus being the Keele campus, and we've got a second campus, which is our bilingual campus, in which you can study in both English and French. So both campuses are in the city of Toronto, spread over 450 acres of land. So it's a massive, massive campus. And I'll give you some context about it. Uh, York caters to more than 55,000 students that come and study with us from 170 plus countries. It's a multicultural institute catering to students from all across the globe. Canada is a multicultural society and Toronto is a multicultural city. So I think from an international student's perspective, it's a great place to be. You can rub shoulders with students that come from different parts of the world. And I think that helps you grow as an individual and as a student as well. So York is a big university. We offer more than 200 plus programs combined at an undergrad and postgrad level through our 11 faculties. Our main faculties include the Schulich Business School, which is one of the top business schools in Canada, the Osgood Law School, one of the oldest law schools in Canada as well, the Lassonde School of Engineering, established in 2015, you know, providing state-of-the-art infrastructure, whether it's through 3D printing or other equipments you could use as part of the engineering school. Our biggest faculty, which is liberal arts and professional studies, faculty of arts, media and design, faculty of environmental studies, health, science, education, so on and so forth. So there is a wide variety of options that you can pick and choose from. And I think that's what makes it a lot more interesting for the students as well. In terms of infrastructure, you know, York, and we firmly believe that the teaching and learning methodologies used by the institute obviously help you grow as a student, but also uh, we believe in holistic teaching and learning, which means especially international students should get an opportunity to explore uh, and grow as an individual outside the classroom as well. So we offer more than 300 plus clubs that you could be a part of, uh, engage with people from different parts of the world. And these clubs are in different areas. So it could be in sport, it could be in literature, depending on your area of interest. Apart from that, we also offer 1,900 jobs per year on campus. That's not a small number. So we know international students are looking at part-time job opportunities. So there is opportunity available on campus and obviously off campus as well. So when things get better and you're able to travel to Canada, that's obviously an important factor for international students as well. York, in terms of other facilities, has about 5 libraries. The biggest one being the Scott Library, spread over 6 floors. We've got about 40 plus restaurants on campus, so you could cater to different cuisines. You don't even need to set a foot outside the campus. We've got pharmacies, we've got banks, all in the campus. So these facilities obviously make life easier for the students, especially when you are an international student. And I think another important factor for an international student is how do you commute to the university. So I know it's not very common for international students to come here and immediately get access to a car. But being in Toronto and being connected through a subway, so York is probably one of the few universities where a subway station is right inside the campus, which means you could be anywhere in the GTA area and take a train and come inside the campus, which is underground, and take about 50 to 100 steps and you would be in your classroom. So I don't think from an international student's perspective, commuting could get any easier. Canada does get cold even in cold conditions. I don't think that should give you an excuse not to attend your classes. So what I'm trying to put across is the infrastructure is very, very strong. We are very student centric, and we try and ensure that, you know, we're trying to impart all the facilities to the prospective students. And obviously all this will come into picture as the lockdown is eased out, and hopefully students are able to travel to Canada sooner than later. While I move on, I would also want to show you a small video which will give you some context about whatever I've spoken about. So I'm going to play this video. Sachin, if you can let me know if it is audible to everyone.
The voice is not so clear, sir. Yeah, it's fine now.
So although it's a short video, it gives you an overview about what you can expect when you're studying at York, when you're on the campus. It also gave you a glimpse of the different activities and facilities that are on offer that I was talking about. So I think you need to be on campus to experience that life. And I'm hoping, hopefully sooner than later, we will be able to present this to you. Moving on, as I mentioned, I represent the School of Continuing Studies within York University. The School of Continuing Studies was established 5 years ago. It has two components, the English Language Institute and the Continued Professional Education imparted through postgrad certificate programs. So in terms of the Language Institute, the institute is actually older than the School of Continuing Studies. It's 35 years old, and it was amalgamated into the school when the school was established. So the Language Institute helps students build a pathway towards the undergrad or postgrad degrees depending on, you know, their English proficiency. So what happens sometimes is the students are able to get the desired academic scores, but because of whatever reasons are not able to secure the desired English scores. And in that case, we've got different programs through which you could further upskill yourself or your English skills, and then get to a level where you can get into York University. So I'll talk a little bit about very quickly about those programs that you could look at. Also just an indicator of how well the institute has done over the years. We've been the finalists for the Pioneer Awards. These are obviously prestigious awards that happen in the United Kingdom. Also, the I Study Award, and we've been the recipients of the same over the last couple of years. So, the Language Institute is not a new one, and it's one of the most reputed language institutes in the country, one of the bigger ones as well. So in terms of the programs that are on offer, if you suppose have lesser IELTS scores, there's a wide variety ranging from the academic program, the YU Bridge program, the pre-destination Destination York program, and the graduate study prep program. A little bit about these programs. So if you have a level where you're less than 6 IELTS, you could start the academic program and then get into the next level. If you have a 6 IELTS overall and maybe 1 or 2 band 5.5, you could do 2 months of the academic program before getting into the PG certificate. So that's a pathway option that you could look for if your IELTS scores are not on the higher side, and if you're planning to come and study the postgrad certificate programs in the School of Continuing Studies. And I'll talk very quickly about the certificate programs in my upcoming slides as well. The YU Bridge program is a great program for undergrad students looking to also acquire academic credits while they study English. So if you are at a 6 IELTS, you could study 4 months with us at the Language Institute. There are 3 intakes for this: Jan, May, and September, which is similar to the degree intake. So you start the language program at the same time as you start the degree. If you study for 4 months, you get 3 academic credits that obviously get added into your degree. So it's a great program if you've got a good academic scores between 70 to 80%, but somehow are not able to get the desired English score for direct entry into York. For majority of the program, that's a 6.5 for an undergrad program. If you've still got a 6, but somehow are not able to acquire higher academic scores, then depending on the program that you pick, the pre-destination and Destination York program is a good program to look at. The program starts prior to the degree intake. So if you've got a 5.5 IELTS, you will do 4 months of this program before you start the degree. If you've got a 6 IELTS, then you only need to do 2 months, and then you can get to a level of 6.5 IELTS. So if you've got a 70%, suppose, and you want to do a program where the prerequisite is 70% or higher, but somehow you've got a 6 IELTS, you could come 2 months before the start of the degree, do this program, and then move on into your degree. So the good thing about YU Bridge or Destination York program is that it comes with a conditional offer, which means your application is first assessed by York. So you are a York University student the moment you enter your classroom. And then the only condition being that you need to showcase the desired English proficiency, which happens through these programs. So at the end of these programs, there is no need for you to take an IELTS again. As you clear these programs, you are at a level which is equivalent to a 6.5 IELTS. So you get automatic entry into the university. But the assessment happens, the academic assessment happens beforehand. That is how we can give you a conditional offer. Moving on. I've spoken about the Destination York as well. So if you want to do a master's program, then we've got few options for that as well. If you've got a 5.5 IELTS, Then you can come and do the graduate study prep program, which is an 8-month program at a 5.5 IELTS. Unfortunately, doesn't come with a conditional offer at this stage, but we've got partnerships with different universities across the globe. Through the graduate study prep program, we've had students who've successfully completed the program and gone ahead and they've been admitted in top universities like the U of T or McGill or even the Schulich Business School. So it's a great program that not just focuses on the English language skills, but also preparing you for GRE, GMAT, which could be a prerequisite when you're looking to get into master's degrees in top institutes. So uh, this is a good program. There are 2 entry levels. So you could also do a 4-month program at a 6.5 IELTS. And obviously, as I said, if you are at a 5.5 IELTS, then it's a 8-month program. We've got related programs, which is intensive advanced legal English program as well. These are short programs, and so is the MBA prep program, which is about 2 months program. And the advanced legal English program is a 4-month program. But these are specific to a certain domain. So if you are, suppose, a practicing lawyer and you want to further upskill yourself by doing a program at the Osgood Law School, then yes, you can come through this program. And similarly, if you aspire to get into the MBA at Schulich, then this is a good option to look at. But um, please be mindful that Schulich acceptance, it's very, very competitive. Uh, it being the #1 business school in the country. So please be mindful of that. In order to get into Schulich, it's very, very competitive, or any other program run through Schulich. So please consider that. And what I will then recommend is to look at the graduate study prep program as an option. Moving on, I will also quickly talk about the certificate programs. So we offer certificate programs primarily in the area of business, business admin, HR, accounting at 2 levels, basic and advanced, content and digital marketing, PR, blockchain, backend and blockchain development starting this fall. So majority of the programs that are popular among students, whether it be BA, HR, accounting, are offered in 3 intakes, Jan, May, and September. These are typically 8-month programs. You could combine 2 programs to then get extended PGWP as well. So through all these programs, you will qualify for the PGWP, although these are non-credit bearing programs. But because these are academic in nature, you will qualify for the PGWP. The content, digital marketing, PR, and blockchain program are offered only in September as of now. The backend and blockchain program is a new program. It's the one of the first of its kind in a university setup. It's a technical program, so you would need previous education in IT or computer science related area, which is not the case for other programs. You could come from different domains and still look to do these programs. So if you are looking to upskill yourself, you've got a completed degree with an aggregate of 60%. And although the minimum requirement is a 6 IELTS, but I would strongly recommend if you've got a 6.5 and higher, it'll obviously benefit your case. If you've got a 6 IELTS, you can come through this program. The content marketing, digital marketing, and PR or the blockchain are highly competitive programs as well. So that's a little bit about the PG certificate programs. What I will now do is, uh, let me just put this back on. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to take those questions. What I will also try to put across is, as I mentioned uh, in the introduction, these are tough times, but the university is working very hard to ensure that we are in sync with uh, the time. So we are offering all our programs online over summer. As we speak, we've just started 2 sessions for our PG certificate and at the English Institute, which is completely online in synchronous and asynchronous mode. So please be rest assured that the teaching and learning methodology is the same. We are trying to make sure that we are remaining student centric. This should not delay your progression. Uh, so even if you start the program online and tomorrow things get better, you could always come and finish the program face to face. So that's the intent. Uh, I cannot comment about fall yet. Uh, it's completely dependent on what the government uh, propaganda is in terms of moving forward, uh, how quickly the restrictions are eased off. So all those factors obviously will then impact whether the delivery would be completely online, partially online, a mix of online or face to face. But for that, obviously, you will have to be a little bit more patient. I've got a couple of questions. One asking me about what kind of programs. So what I was trying to focus on was two options that are available. One for the postgrad students. So the ones that have finished bachelor's degree could look at postgrad certificate programs. Those are 8 months long that are being offered in the area of business. And pathway programs to undergrad degrees. So if you've got the desired academic scores to get into York, but somehow don't have the English proficiency, then we offer pathway programs to get into York that come through conditional admission. So those are the two aspects that I spoke about. How many programs you can join at once? So you can obviously, if you're looking at postgrad certificate program, you can only do one program at one time, but you can add another program once you're done with the first program. If you're doing a pathway program, then obviously you're doing one program unless you're doing the YU Bridge program. So the YU Bridge is a unique program in which you can start the English program along with your degree, which means you might have classes for English in the morning and degree classes in the afternoon. So that's the only program where you're doing two programs at the same time. Others, you would start one program, which would then lead to the second program. So I hope uh, that brings clarity in terms of these two questions. Uh, what I would also like to put across is, and I know sometimes the students have doubts around, online teaching and learning methodology. I've got another question about research in York. So I'm not able to get what you're saying. How research is preferred in, so I'll just generalize this because I'm not able to get the specific sense out of the question. Research. So all good institutes across the globe are research driven. Obviously, there is a lot of focus on research. Even in terms of the programs, it's important that you understand in order to do well, you will have to do your own research in the programs as well, which means uh, referring to journals, preparing for assignments which are continuous, uh, and that becomes an integral part of teaching and learning, right? So research is an important component. So the business program, if you've got a 7.5 IELTS, you need a 60% aggregate in your completed degree. If you've got those two elements, then you should be good enough to apply for the program. Uh, if you are a year 12 student and you want to come and study at York, then unfortunately you will have to, or fortunately actually, you will have to look at a degree. There are not many diplomas on offer. If you want to study marketing through the BCom program, you could look at close to 6 specializations, depending on what your aggregate scores in year 12 are. So you could do a BCom and then specialize in that area. So there are options available. For BBA, which is run through Schulich, the entry requirements are very high, and also you need about 7.5 IELTS. So math, especially for North America, is uh, a prerequisite to get into the undergrad programs, and so is the case with York. If you don't have math, then there are still options available. For example, if you want to do business, then we've got a program which is Business and Society, and that's a program which you could look at. So for that, you don't need math. For the BCom, you would need math. I hope that answers your question. So there are different options available. So AI, cybersecurity, data analytics, these are obviously areas that are in demand. We offer programs, but those are currently part-time programs delivered online. If you are forward thinking and you're looking at options, then what you could look at is a program in backend and blockchain development. That's something that you could look at, and course details of these programs are all available on the website. Please refer to the website to check out about our certificate or the pathway programs. If we talk about medical program, the only medical or closer to medicine for undergrad is biomedical science that we offer. Unfortunately, we don't offer other programs in the area of medicine. If you've got a BCom degree and you don't have a 60%, I know it's tough. Delhi University is a top university. I understand that. I've studied at the same university for my bachelor's, and doesn't give you marks very leniently, and I'm aware of that as well. But unfortunately, if it's not a 60%, it'll be difficult. So jobs are, obviously, there is no generic answer. Depending on obviously your skill sets and how well prepared you are, you would get into the industry. So that's something that you'll have to figure out yourself. What I can say is that top institutes try and integrate a mix of practice and theory. So you get exposure to different activities as part of your degree, whether it's through internships or work integrated learning model of teaching and learning. So I think that's something that you might want to do some research on before you pick any institute. We don't offer any postgrad programs in hospitality management, but you could look at the business admin program, which focuses on obviously management skills, critical thinking, teamwork, leadership. So all those aspects are obviously beneficial irrespective of the industry that you join. So as I mentioned before, you can check out our website, and through that you will be able to get further details about the institute. I think what you I can put in a I can try and put in a link. Just give me a sec. So what I will do is I will put in a link to our programs in the chat window, and that'll give you an idea in terms of what programs you could look at. So accommodation expenses are dependent on whether you're looking at on campus or off campus accommodation. Um, you know, obviously being in Toronto, it's not cheap, but there are different options available. So whether you're sharing a room or it's an individual room, or even when you move out, are you sharing an apartment with your other friends? So that's what will then define what sort of expenses you're looking at, but there are different options available. So we have a faculty in liberal arts and professional studies. What I will recommend is also check the website, because there are different options available in terms of the programs that we offer. So uh, it's hard for me to go through each and every program uh, in a short period of time, but what I can tell you is there are different options available uh, for in your area of interest. So what I will do is uh, also I'll try and put in a link, or uh, I'll put in a link so that you can go and check the website as well and find different options. So that's the website that you can go and check to see what all options are available in terms of our varied offerings in different areas. I've got a question again in terms of a diploma. I think I've answered that question. What about, so our technical programs run through the engineering school typically offer co-op as part of the program, through which then you can get an option to do industry projects uh, and internships as well. So that's part of the undergrad degree. For postgrad certificate programs, for the backend and blockchain development program, yes, there is an optional internship uh, available towards the end of the program. But that's the only program in terms of the postgrad certificates that gives you that option. So for undergrad engineering, yes. For postgrad, only the backend and blockchain development program. So that's in terms of internships. So if you're looking at the postgrad certificate programs, because they're offered through the continued professional education, obviously there are a lot of students with work experience that apply for these programs. Having said that, it's not mandatory for you to have work experience, but that might be the case if you're looking at a master's degree. So please, every faculty has different prerequisites. Go through the prerequisites before you apply. But for the certificate programs, it's not mandatory to have work experience. Obviously, it helps if you've got some work experience, but it's not mandatory. So for undergrad students, we've got scholarships, but that's predominantly for students who qualify directly to apply at York. Those are very stringent and directly correlational to the academic credentials of the students. So again, there are different scholarships. Some are limited, some are based on faculty that you apply to. For example, the Faculty of Science gives you a scholarship only even if you are fulfilling the prerequisites. But if you come through the pathway programs, then there are no scholarships unfortunately available at this stage. Same is the case with PG certificates. So with those two, unfortunately, no scholarships available at this stage. So someone is asking me what type of jobs are there at the campus. I'm assuming you're talking about part-time jobs. So as I said, there are different options that you can look at, which could range from working in the library or the gym or even in the restaurant. So there is a wide variety of options that you can choose from. But obviously, you should not look to limit yourself to on-campus jobs. There are plenty of jobs also available off-campus as well. All right, so I think I have been able to answer a majority of the questions that I see on my screen. In some of them there were repetitions. If there are any more questions, I'm happy to address. So the eligibility for the MBA, one, work experience is mandatory. I will not want to spell out the eligibility. The program is run through Schulich. Please visit Schulich's website. The prerequisites are very stringent. It's the #1 business school in the country. Please be mindful of that. So check the Schulich website for MBA. But I'll be very honest with you. If you're not in the top end in your academics, or you don't have a great GRE GMAT score or a high IELTS score, the probability of getting into MBA is pretty bleak. If you're still interested in the business program, check out the business administration program at the School of Continuing Studies as well. So yes, you do get breaks in between your academic sessions. So obviously summer break or winter break are pretty much just like anywhere else in the world. Christmas obviously is a longer break, but then you get a break over summer as well. So you will have time to come to go back to India during these holidays. Although I would also recommend try and get the experience over these holidays. So Christmas is beautiful. Try and spend some time here in Canada to experience Christmas as well. I've got a question about, so as I said, for all the programs, the postgrad certificate programs, we need a 60% academic score. And I would go ahead and say a 6.5 IELTS, although the minimum requirement is a 6, but the higher the better. We don't accept PTE, unfortunately. Only for the graduate study prep program, we do accept the PTE. So the time duration is that you can be here in Canada is equivalent to the time you spend in your studies. So if you spend 2 academic sessions, then about close to 1 year. But then if you add on another one, then that time is added as well. So I think someone is asking me about PR and citizenship. Unfortunately, that's not my domain. What I will recommend is you get in touch with InPhase. They might be able to help you with this. So for biomed, yes, you need year 12 math. Unfortunately or fortunately for majority of the bachelor programs, whether it be engineering or Bachelor of Health Science, biomed, biochem, you do need math. If you don't have math and you still have inclined towards an area of public health, then we've got a program in health and society. For that, you don't need math. But then other programs, yes, we do need math. All right, so I think I don't see any more questions on my screen. I think I've been able to address these questions. If you have any further questions, I've got a question around gap year, depending, what does, so if you've got work experience and you're applying for a postgrad certificate program, then we'll obviously look at it as work experience as non-gap. But if it's for undergrad, then we'll have to look at the profile. So a strong statement of purpose would obviously be helpful, where you would want to explain the reason for you not being able to continue your studies. So that's important. So for bio degree as well, yes, we need year 12 math. So someone, Monica, wants to know about the intake. So for undergrad degrees, we've got 3 intakes, Jan, May, and September. For postgrad certificate programs, we've got 3 intakes as well. For majority of our programs, which is again Jan, May, and September. So we've got, and someone is asking me about a theater. Yes, we've got a program in BA program in theater through our Faculty of Arts, Media, Performance, and Design. Check the website to get further details about the program, but yes, we've got a program in theater. So I won't want to generalize in terms of what's the schedule for a student or a routine for a student in York, depending on how you put your timetable together. That will define how many days you're spending in the university as well. One thing I won't want to put across is that you have to do self-study. So if you're spending 3 hours in a classroom, then please be mindful that you have to put about 3 to 4 hours on your own. So whatever time you spend in the classroom, equivalent needs to be spent in self-studying. So that's very, very important and different from what you're used to back home in India. Yes, you could look to do a BA program even if you've got commerce in 12th. That's not a problem. What I will then recommend is maybe look at something like a business and society program, so that you can still continue studying in an area related to business, if that's something you want to continue further with. If can I do computers after 10+2 in commerce without math? So unfortunately, for you to do a computer science or IT related program, you do need mathematics. So that would be a little bit difficult for you to look at. So you could invite your parents to come to Canada on a visitor visa. They can come and be here with you. Typically on a visitor visa, you can stay for up to 6 months at one go. But again, I'm not an expert in this domain, and Faze would be able to tell you a little bit more about what sort of visas you could look at. But most definitely, the parents can come and be with their parents, with their students. Sorry. Yes, you could look at an online option to clear math, and quite a few students do that. So there are options available. Maybe in Phase might be able to help you with that as well. But absolutely. So if you've cleared a math subject online, you need to also look at the equivalency of the same. So the university should be able to put it as an equivalent to a CBSE or a state board uh, math subject. Please be mindful of that. But if you are able to do it online, then we will be able to consider it as well. There are options available online as well. So typically undergrad programs in North America are 4 years. So the BCom degree is also a 4-year program, and so are our BA programs and the engineering programs as well. Okay, I think no, not at York. Unfortunately, we focus on degrees, being a university. So no diplomas or limited diplomas. I don't think you'll be able to look at the diplomas that you're interested in. Those are predominantly for domestic students. Okay, so as I said before, if there are any further questions, please connect with InPhase. They would be able to provide further information, or they can connect with me, and I'll be happy to put across the same. There, I've got a question around which university you prefer for AI. And I would put these as my closing remarks. Whatever my preference was, I was able to pick and choose when I was trying to upskill myself. It's not about me anymore. It's not about my preference, it's about yours. I would strongly recommend, please research. There are quite a few options available out there. Do your level of research, check the university websites, check whether it's a research centric institute or not. Check who are the professors who are going to teach you, what their profiles look like, what sort of research have they done in their area. Does the university offer work integrated learning methodology? Are there any internships available? What's the career path going to look like? So please focus on all these aspects when you are picking and choosing a program, right? And then narrow it down to few institutes, and then obviously you would want to get into the best one, which might happen, which might not happen. So please have a backup plan as well. So that's how I would recommend to do your research. Again, someone is asking me,